Hello everybody, welcome to my review of the Abba Skylift. So today I'm going to be telling you all about this Abba Skylift that Abba has sent us to review. I've had it for around 2 years now, so I think it's plenty long enough to give you my thoughts on what it's like and show you how it works and what it does and stuff. If you'd like to see me do any more reviews of anything I use in the workshop or use on the videos or anything at all like that, please let me know what you'd like me to review in the comments and I'll see what I can do. So I've had this Abba Skylift for about 2 years. I've first started using it in series 1 of its Bandit o'clock, and I've got to say I'm really happy with it. It's great to be used if you don't have space for a ramp, or if you need to move your motorcycle around. It's great for that as well. Now, it's got lots of different features. You've got to bolt it all together yourself, which you can already work on your bike, or you're already handy with the spanners. It's fairly simple to read the instructions and put it all together. So in the past 2 years, I've not had any problems with it whatsoever. I've used it on lots of different bikes, and I've used it for lots of different things. If you've watched any of our project videos, there's a good chance you've seen it in most of them. Now, one of the massive benefits to the Abba stand is it can be packed away very easily, which is what I'm going to show you now. As you can see, lots of parts like these 3 legs here are removable for when it's not in use. This piece here is removable, so I'm going to remove this and show you how I pack it away in my garage. So I'm going to use a 6mm Allen key. I'm going to loosen this leg off here, and then if we give it a wobble, the leg is now removed. So as you can see, there's a sort of L shape to it, and it'll almost fit round the corner of something. So as you can see, I've got the bandsaw and the bike, which is in a sort of sticky out cornery bit of the workshop, and now that that foot's been removed, I slide that in there just like that, and now it's out the way and it's not taking up any room. If I move the camera back, you can see how it was taking up loads of room, but now it's out the way and not taking up any space. So if that's not compact enough for you to pack it away, we can remove this leg as well. Again, just 2 Allen keys. We'll give it a wiggle, and that's another leg removed. We'll remove this leg as well. Again, 2 more Allen keys. And there we have it. It's even more compact. Now what we can do is slide this piece off, and then it doesn't take much room up at all. You can put this flat against the wall, or just sort of put it out the way, and it's pretty compact. If you need to, you can take this arm off as well. It's just a big bolt there, and it's even more flush. Now let's take a look at how we actually mount the bike to the stand. So this is part of the mounting point. This goes into the swing arm pivot on one side of the bike, and then this part does up and goes onto the other side of the swing arm pivot. Now, to fit different bikes, you need different adapters. There's many different adapters, they're all different shapes and sizes, and Abba have a adapter kit for most bikes. And if you have a lot of different bikes, some of us have a bit of a collection, they even do a technician's kit that has every adapter that they do. So these adapters just slot in the cups like that, and then they slot in the swing arm, spindle, pivot point. So let's take a look how we actually mount a bike to the stand. We need to mount a bike on the ramp. We've got the right adapters in for this K5 GSX-R1000, and we've got the same bit in the other one. Now I'm going to use my trusty assistant Bill to just give me a hand, as it is much easier if you've got a second pair of hands, but you can actually do it by yourself. So we have to roll the Abba stand underneath, and then we need to lean it a little bit to line that up, and then Bill's going to come in and put this on the other side, which I'll show you now. And there's a couple of little screws and bolts to tighten up on the other side, and now it's all mounted and ready to go. And there we go, we can start lifting the bike up. So we've got the bike on the Skylift, we need to jack the bike up. Now there's 3 different positions that you can actually raise the bike up in. So the first one I'm going to show you is when you just mount the bike with the sort of Abba stand attachment, so it's mounted, and I'm going to jack it up just like that with nothing else. So cue the time lapse. So that is the first position you can mount the bike in. You can get the back wheel nice and high in the air, so you can take it out at the normal sort of working height, or just have a look around and see things from a different angle. Now the next position requires you to use the strap that comes with the kit, and then you can move it into this position. So let's cue the time lapse. There we go. Then we've got wheelie position. So the front end's nice and free and loose. You can take the front wheel out, work on your discs and stuff like that. And if you're any good with Photoshop, you can pretend you're wheeling Bill's bike. So we're going to do the third and final position. This also requires some strapping up. You have to use the red arm that mounts onto the red Abba stand bit, put the strap round, and then you can take both wheels off the floor at the same time. So let's jack it up, shall we? And there we have it at its maximum height. So pretty versatile bit of kit, being able to get the front wheel off the ground or the back wheel off the ground, or have both the wheels off at the same time. There's also 2 safety holes with a safety bar to go through, so you can actually sit it at 2 different heights depending on what you're doing, and you don't have to worry about the bike falling down. you've seen a different position that the bike can be in on the lift, but what does it actually move around like? So let's try rolling the bike around, shall we? So as you can see, it rolls pretty good. It's a handy thing to have. And it moves around rather easily, which is really good thing to have in the garage, because if the bike doesn't have its wheels in or it's not rolling, something like that, you can just put it into a gap and get it out of the way, and then you've got a lot more workspace. So let's say we want this bike out of the way, so we've got a bit more area here to work with. We'll just give it a push. And then we've got all this space to work in. As if by magic, we've now got some carpet in the garage. I'm not sure if you've got carpet in your garage, but we've got a couple of rugs and bits of carpet and stuff, just so it's not as cold on your feet in here. Now, the Abba stand will still move across carpet. In the first series of its Bandit o'clock, I was actually using an office that had carpet tiles on the floor, and it was a little bit awkward to move, but it's not that bad on carpet, but it is a bit slower, and I just thought I'd show you so you can see what it's like. As you can see, it's a little bit tougher on carpet, and it does fold it up a bit. But it still does the job. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have noticed this as well. While the bike is up on the lift, there is a bit of wobble to it. The first time you go to move the bike around, it can be a little bit unnerving, a little bit worrying, because you know the bike's wobbling and moving around, but it's actually really secure, and you do kind of get used to it really. I'm looking at both sides, and yeah, it's just kind of how the design is. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a drawback or a positive, but it is one of those things I thought I'd let you know about, in case you get one and think, oh, my bike's wobbling around, but they do that. Now, I'm not sure how much a Bandit 1200 weighs. This one's a little bit modified, so it might be a bit different. I know I weigh well over 100 kilos. Shall we see how strong the Abba stand actually is? Well, give me a moment. This might not be very dignified, but let's see how strong it really is. So, there we go. That is me sat on it in the wheelie position, and it's absolutely fine. So I imagine if you've got something like a Goldwing or something massive like that, you'd be absolutely fine. And yeah, so, and you can practice your wheelies as well while you're like this. So I've been asked, do I prefer the Abba stand over a conventional ramp? Now, both of them have their positives and they have their negatives. The Abba stand's really good. It's really mobile. You can move a bike around when there's no wheels in it. But there's no sort of platform to put any tools on or rest anything on like that. There's nothing under the bike when it's jacked up. Whereas with a ramp, you've got your platform to use as a workbench, as well as having the bike on. You can rest things on it, tools, etc., etc. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The other thing is space. The Abba stand, as you've seen, doesn't take a lot of space up. I've had a couple of ramps in the garage before, and they're just always getting in the way. It doesn't matter if you put a bike on them, they just always seem to be in the way. And you can move a ramp around, but obviously not with a bike on, and they are very, very heavy. So I think for me it generally comes down to not having a great deal of space and needing to be able to move bikes around without any wheels in. Sometimes on a project bike, if you're getting your wheels powder coated, it can be a week or so before you get your wheels back, which means if you've got your bike on a conventional ramp, it's got to stay on that ramp for a week. Whereas with the Abba stand, even though the bike's got to stay on there, at least you can move the bike around your garage or workshop and move it out the way and possibly move something else into your normal working space. So for my situation, I am much better off with the Abba stand. If I ever get a big workshop where I don't need to move things around so much, I'd probably get a ramp and have the Abba stand, which I know is a little bit greedy, but if you can, I would. I'd just like to say thanks again to Abba for letting us have this Skylift to review and try out and see what we think of. We appreciate it, and we do like it. So thanks again for watching the video, guys. We really do appreciate it. If you give us a subscribe and hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification every time we upload a video, whether it be a review or a project or one of our other videos. We normally upload them at 9 PM on a Sunday evening. So until next time, we'll see you later.